Hello and welcome to our last weekly parcel video in our current shop. We will be moving to a new location and reopening mid-March, and we hope you'll come visit us there. We'll have way more plants available, more locally made products, home goods, all sorts of fun stuff. Of course, flowers. Speaking of flowers, this weekly parcel is a very sophisticated and simple bouquet that has a couple caveats, so let's get started. All right, so I picked this vase because of its silhouette. It's similar and complementary to the tall, narrow arrangement that we're working with. I do want to cover some things about the flowers we're working with this week. First, we have calla lilies, which are beautiful and extremely long-lasting flowers. The trick with calla lilies, if you have them alone in a vase, is to only give them a couple inches of water because the end of their stem will get mushy and start to split. When you're using it in an arrangement, it's a little bit harder to have less water with it. So what I like to do is I try to keep it further up in the vase and not have it touching completely down to the bottom. We also have tweedia in this week's bouquet. Tweedia is like a milkweed. It has a milky sap. I've pre-treated all of the stems by sticking the lower parts of the stems in boiling hot water, which stops the milkiness from coming out. So if you do just a cut on the lower part of the stem, you will have nothing to worry about. But if you do cut it much shorter, the stem will start to milk its sap. And just be very careful. It does cause skin irritation on some people, and try not to touch your eyes before washing your hands. It is a very beautiful flower though, so it's worth the extra effort. Let's start arranging. So I have thistle this week, which I believe we've worked with before, and it is a beautiful branchy stem. So I like to always start with things that have a little bit more width because they're harder to put into the bouquet or into the arrangement once you start having stems in your vase. So I'm going to start with my thistle, keeping it a little bit lower because I wanted to set the stage for the other components to be a little bit higher. So I'm just going to give it a clean trim there. Cut it a little bit more. I do have quite a substantial foot on this vase, so just touching it to the bottom won't work. I have to account for that extra inch there. Next, I'm going to go in with my lysimachia. It is considered a wimpy flower, and with wimpy flowers, sometimes they have a hard time hydrating, especially if you're not using clean, sharp clippers. So if you notice that it starts to droop over, which this is its natural movement, you'll notice a big difference if it's drooping over. You can just give it a clean cut and put it into hot water and it'll perk right up. I left a lot of the foliage on the lysimachia because we don't have foliage in this bouquet. I wanted to have some greenery, so we're just going to leave all of that intact as long as it's not going below the lip of the vase. So I've got those evenly distributed at different heights, allowing their natural movement to take place. Next, I'm going to go in with the tweedia. Again, if you get any of the sap on your hands, be sure to wash your hands right away and avoid any eye contact. It's really pretty just like that, but I'm going to bring in the calla lilies next, a real star of the show. So lastly, I have my aspidistra leaf. If you don't like it just like that, you could curl it under and even staple it and make it like a little poof. You could line a vase with it. This is what a lot of florists will use to cover their mechanics or stems in the water. But you know, with any time you put foliage in the water, you're increasing the likelihood of bacteria. But I'm gonna use it as kind of the background on this one and make it a little bit more of a front-facing arrangement. I have another one which I think I'm just gonna cross behind to continue that backdrop and make it a little bit more of a front-facing arrangement. All right, that's that. Lots of nice long-lasting flowers in this arrangement. The thistle, the calla lilies, the aspidistra, even the tweedia and the lysimachia are pretty long-lasting. So just make sure you're changing that water out pretty regularly, keeping an eye on the ends of the calla lily stems if they are frayed or mushy. Make sure you're giving them a clean cut. Okay, that's it for today. We will see you in our new space in March. I want to take a moment to thank Sam at the pantry for welcoming us into the space and giving us the opportunity to try out a brick and mortar. It worked. We're moving into a bigger space, as well as the folks at Marbled and Vera's who really welcomed us into their family and supported us during this very trying year. We'll see you soon.